Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're going to break down an idea that's all about why our brains are, well, just awful at understanding randomness. We'll look at how that little blind spot shapes everything from a simple coin toss all the way to some really high stakes bets. All right, let's kick things off with a super simple thought experiment. Imagine I'm about to flip a coin. What are you calling? Heads or tails? You know the odds, right? It's a straight 50-50 shot. And it's heads. Okay, simple enough. One flip, one outcome. No big deal, right?
So let's do it again. Same coin, we flip it a second time. What are the odds now? I mean, logically, you know they're still 50-50. The coin itself hasn't changed at all.
And look at that. It's heads again. That's two in a row. Now, here's where it gets interesting. We're about to toss it a third time. Your logical brain is screaming, it's still 50-50. But come on, be honest. Isn't there a little part of you that just feels like tails is kinda due?
And boom, that right there is the heart of the whole thing. The chance of this next flip being heads, it's always 50-50. But the probability of seeing a specific pattern, like 3 heads in a row, that's a totally different story. That's only a 1 in 8 shot. Our brains get completely tangled up trying to reconcile the odds of this single moment with how unlikely the pattern we're witnessing feels.
Which leads to this fantastic quote. That coin has no memory, but the observer does. Think about that. The coin has no idea what it just did, but you remember. You remember every single flip, and that memory completely colors how you see the next toss, even though for the coin, it's a fresh start every single time.
Okay, so let's take this little mental glitch and see how it plays out in the real world, where the stakes are a lot higher. We're heading to the casino floor.
We're going to look at a really famous, or maybe infamous, betting system called the martingale strategy. This is a classic trap you see all the time at the roulette table. You know, where people are betting on red or black, something that feels like a coin flip, a 50-50 shot.
And on the surface, the logic seems almost foolproof, right? You start with a small bet, maybe $1 on red. If you lose, no big deal. You just double your next bet to $2. Lose again? Okay, you double it to 4. The idea is that eventually you have to win. And when you do, that one win pays back all your losses plus your original $1 profit. Sounds pretty good. So it feels like a guaranteed way to make a small, steady profit. You just gotta have the nerve to stick with it. But you gotta ask yourself, if it were really that easy, wouldn't we all be millionaires? Yeah. That beautiful simplicity is hiding a really, really dangerous flaw. So what's the flaw? Well, here's the cold, hard reality of it. Get this. According to the source material, if you take $1,000 into a casino and use this strategy, there's a 62% chance you're going to walk out with absolutely nothing, not a single penny. And here's the brutal reason why. The losses don't just add up, they explode. Think about it. A few losses in a row, which, by the way, is totally possible with 50-50 odds, and suddenly you're not betting $1 or $2. You need to put down $128, then $256, then a whopping $512, all just to win back that first dollar. Most people either run out of money or they hit the casino's table limit long before their supposed luck turns. It's just a perfect and painful example of how our gut feeling that things will even out gets absolutely crushed by the real math of probability. Okay, but this whole battle between chance and probability, it's not just for gamblers. This thing messes with how we see the world every single day, and a lot of the time, we don't even notice it's happening. You know this one for sure. Think about being stuck in traffic. It always feels like your lane is the one that's not moving, right? The lane next to you is just cruising along. So what do? You switch lanes. And what happens? Bam! Your old lane suddenly starts moving, and now you're stuck again. It seriously feels like the universe is just messing with you personally. And this table just lays it out perfectly. It shows you exactly why this feeling is so strong. It has nothing to do with reality and everything to do with where your attention is focused. When your lane is moving along or you're hitting green lights, your brain is basically on autopilot. You're in a state of inattention. You don't even notice it. But the second you get stuck, the moment you hit that red light, your brain snaps to attention. It becomes hyper-focused on the delay, on the frustration, and that's what you remember. You remember being annoyed, and you totally forget all the times things went perfectly fine. The author actually has this fantastic name for it, the principle of proximity. And it's that uncanny feeling that problems only pop up right when you need something. It's like you'll drive past an ATM and it's totally empty a dozen times. But the one time you actually need to get cash, yep, there's a line.
So what's the takeaway here? It's not bad luck. The universe isn't out to get you. It's all about a selective filter inside your own head. You're literally hardwired to notice and remember the bad stuff, the inconveniences, because they're a problem you have to solve. And all those countless times when the traffic flowed and the lights were green, they just fade away into the background, completely forgotten.
All right, let's bring this all home. I've got one last story that ties this whole idea of chance, probability, and you, the observer, together in a really, really cool way. So, the author tells this story about a friend. This friend was on a plane, and something happened that has just insanely long odds against it. One of the engines failed mid-flight. Now, thankfully, everyone was okay. The plane landed safely. Okay, so we all know the chance of even one engine failure on a flight is incredibly, incredibly small. But let's shift our thinking from the chance of the event to the probability of the pattern. The probability of the very same passenger experiencing that same rare event twice, I mean, the odds are just astronomical. It's almost statistically impossible. And that brings us to one final really provocative question for you. Logically, you know that this person has absolutely no effect on the mechanical safety of an airplane. But as an observer, knowing what you know about the crazy astronomical odds against it happening to them a second time, would you feel safer flying with that person than without them? It's a wild thought, right? And it perfectly captures that constant battle going on in our heads between cold, hard chance and the powerful, meaningful patterns that we, as observers, just can't help but see.